where afterwards, if you're Misfits, you just kind of go, we lost level 1. We got to make sure that we don't lose at level 1, and then we'll be fine.
If I'm Misfits, I just say pick blue side, ward level 1, just go game 2 and see what happens. There's not much to take away from there. They just got absolutely murdered, right? So I think the level 1 set them really far behind, and Jankos and Caps are very good. I mean, you can see why everyone picks them, you know, in their super teams and they're all pro, you know, kind of what team they want to make together. They want Caps and Jankos always on their team if they want to slot in.
Yeah, the pretty much universal conclusion we heard from that particular episode of Pop Quiz was that teams across the board considered Caps Jankos as the strongest mid-jungle duo in the league. Last game clearly showcased that. Jankos helping Caps build those early leads, Caps bringing it home alongside Jankos with some incredible playmaking. But a lot can change game to game. Remember, historically, this has always been a 3-0 between these two teams across multiple years of best-of-5s. We'll see if today Misfits can upset the apple cart. We've said it once, and I'll say it again. The odds are stacked against Misfits. But we'll see what they can do as we head into picks and bans. Also, if you're in the audience, there's free water at the merch booth. Someone told me to say that to you, and I guess this is the best time to do it. Free water at the merch booth! Woo!
Of course, the viewers at home, we don't want you to feel left out. If you go to your tap and you turn that on, Dynadrix has now also made that free as well. So drink as much water as you want.
I'm not paying your water bill. But hydration check, posture check. Casually, you've done one before. I think people appreciate checking. Sit up straight, because brace yourself. This could be...
It's game 2. We still got at least 2 more games.
Exactly. And for now, Misfits keeping the strategy the same. The Draven hitting the bench. They don't want anything to do with it. The Yuumi also gone. Jarvan, it looks like we might see the exact same bans, but with Misfits now, of course, on the blue side.
Now, what is Misfits' first pick then? Do they want to go for the Lucian first pick? The Draven Jarvan screams to me that they want to go for the Sivir again, but they've denied the Senna, so maybe they think that that's swayed away the Yasuo bot. Of course, we've seen Yasuo Gragas bot a lot of the time as well, so there's still options. Trundle down, raises power of Wukong as well, and Vi, the junglers we might expect, but they are maybe going to go for the Sejuani first pick, which is what G2 went for last game, of course.
Isn't it fascinating how series are so different? You know, like yesterday we saw such a heavy bot lane focus. In game 1, bot wasn't even a conversation, right? Like this time around though, we're seeing high priority on things like the Sejuani. Now how will G2 respond? Because with the Trundle ban, that's the direction that I thought they would head in, but it looks like that we're back down towards the bot lane priority.
Lucian, Nami locked for G2. Does Misfits just go Sivir Lulu? Is that just going to be their answer with the Jarvan ban, with the Draven ban as well, denying the Yasuo? All of these bans just kind of instigated they want to play that. Otherwise, they could go for some kind of heavy topside here. Wukong, Sylas tried to start fighting back a bit, get of a brawl. Heavy topside. Zeri, again, a champion that's kind of slipped our minds. Is one of the AD carries, which is incredibly strong as well, when paired with things like the Yuumi and the Lulu.
Lulu now coming through, debating on whether or not they actually do want the Zeri here. The Sivir obviously offering them a lot of scaling power, but we saw in the previous game that getting to late game is probably the hardest piece of that puzzle to assemble. Taking their time on what they want to lock in for a third pick. Remember, this time around, G2 are the ones with the luxury of counter pick, with the ones of last pick. Seeing Renekton locked in now. This could be going to the top lane, could tell us that the Sejuani is going to the jungle. We have seen some Renekton mid internationally, but we'll just have to wait and see. For now, though, the Ornn locked in on the top side, and Misfits unlikely to play the Yasuo, so really like seeing the Ornn here.
Well, Misfits likely to start banning away junglers now. The question is, what do you try and remove? What direction are G2 looking for? Because they do have a very solid bot lane. They have, like, already they have a very solid core. You know, you have a very powerful 2v2 that you can look to play through. You have a weak side top that will scale very nicely into the late game. The question is, what option do they want to go for with so many of the already traditional meta junglers banned away? Vi is, of course, still up and available. The Wukong going to be removed.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Jankos on Nocturne, Xin Zhao, Pantheon. I don't think he'll struggle to find an AD jungler if he needs to pull one out. The question I have is AD carry for Misfits. I think Sivir ban here is almost like a no-brainer for G2 if you're taking away the strong AD carries at Lulu, but then you've still got a Aphelios, which might be picked up by Neon as something that pairs pretty well with Lulu. Xayah could work as well. Twitch, Kog'Maw also could work, so just depends on how they fancy the lane phase, how they fancy scaling, what do they actually optimize, but they're going to ban away Sylas instead, so that maybe signals that they want to go for the early Ahri pick again on 4, and that's going to get taken away by Misfits. So good response from Misfits, and now it's just a question of what does Jankos want to play, what does Caps want to play? Do they value counter pick on jungle or mid?
And while I have no doubt that both Caps, or the Caps is a deep enough champion pool for that not to be an issue, I do like seeing it taken away. Last playoffs, it was the Ahri given the Caps just about every single game that helped G2 bring it home. So limiting it here, especially after that incredible performance in game 1, makes sense. But now G2 debating, could just lock in the Vi.
Skarner is going to be Zanzara's answer to that. You have to imagine with this many junglers down, and we've only really seen Skarner from him, other than the Sejuani actually will be going jungle, of course, so just slipped my mind there. So there's the Sivir. We expected the ban from G2. That's going to be locked in alongside Lulu, and now it's on VTO, his
I was hoping
choice.
for a Cog. I think a Cog would have been really great.
Akali, wow.
Wow, a blind Akali from VTO as well. He's saying, you know what? Comfort. That's what I want. I want something that I can, well, kill people on. And the question is, will he be able to pull it off?
Important piece of the League of Legends puzzle, being able to kill people. Well, now we got Renekton on the top side of Sejuani in the jungle. Final response here from G2 Esports.
Oh, TF into Akali, classic, of course, can reveal her in the Shroud, so the Vi ult actually has a lot more value into the Akali, which can be...
Okay.
Caps Twisted Fate. I feel like Caps Twisted Fate is always a weird one for me. It's not that like I've ever thought that he was a bad Twisted Fate player. It's more that like I've never associated the champion with him. Mainly because TF is always one that's like more of a setup rather than you don't have the same independent agency to be able to make those outplays on. And it doesn't help that some of my most recent memories are him playing TF into Damwon, which didn't go super great. But for sure, a phenomenal Twisted Fate player, and it really fits into his playstyle of like looking to push, being able to roam, and into the Akali, the ultimate can easily spot her.
And putting even more attention on Flakked, which has been a continued trend from G2 Esports, showing more and more that he's an AD carry that can be relied on. Naturally, people gravitate towards talking about G2's top side, but when Lucian is really that primary massive damage threat for your team, Flakked naturally has to be the guy that we focus on this game and really see how Misfits respond, because they've got the defensive bot lane, got an aggressive topside with Renekton, the Akali on VTO, an iconic champion for this player, but just have to see how Misfits can make this composition work as they try to find a way back into this series.
G2 a lot more stock standard now, no real surprise on the TF. Misfits, similar sort of concept, similar sort of idea as game one.
So here we go, jumping into game two. Misfits need to find a more stable footing in the early game if they want to stand a chance against G2. For them, this is an opportunity to qualify for the World Championship. A win here will lock Misfits a spot at Malmö and the World Championship. G2, of course, already locked, but they would like to go to Malmö too. Let's see which team will be able to come out ahead as we're getting ready to jump into our second match of this best of 5.
Soon we will jump into this next match. We were trying to time it. Producers tell us when to toss, but we were just trying to set it up. It is a big game. Certainly G2 feel like the favorites after that game. We'll have to find out, can they keep the momentum going? Will Misfits Gaming be able to fire back? Notorious for the late game team fighting, certainly have the tools to do so this time around. And remember that just about everybody wants to see Misfits fail here. Mad Lions, make it to Worlds if Misfits lose here. Fnatic and Excel will play Misfits instead of G2 if Misfits lose here. Odds stacked against Misfits in about every possible way, but maybe they can bring it back. It's time for game 2.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
G2 esports celebration going strong.
Capstad also involved in the cheers. Here to watch the sun, of course. And will we see any level 1s from G2 again? TF, Vi, not the strongest level 1s, unless they're looking for some kind of bot invade, but I think it's going to be a bit dangerous for them to do it this time around, so we might get more of a stock standard start here.
All right, this is going to feel weird because the G2 chants are still going, but while Misfits, we'll have to see if they can celebrate after this game. They can celebrate one thing from making it to this game. 300 LEC, wow. Okay, production, we're not on the same page. Masterclass in timing on my side. 300 games for Misfits, congrats Misfits. Obviously G2 fans in the house, very vocal. Make sure we give Misfits their time in the spotlight too. It's been a pleasure to have this organization in the league, and making it to 300 in the last dance here is big. For these players, obviously, it's not just about this series, it's about their futures as competitive pro players. I want to put on the best performance they possibly can in their final split. Already defied expectations making it to playoffs. We'll see if they can do it again. Take the game off G2 here.
And it's Misfits who are the ones to pull the trigger level 1 instead. This time, complete flip from game 1. They've gone into the top side jungle. Jankos won't get caught out. They'll take away the red and the Raptors on Zanzara, Sejuani. A lot of trading in bot as well, though. Misfits getting the better hand of G2's bot lane in these early level 1s, forcing them quite far back to control the wave. And of course, G2 did ward for that, so Jankos has the information that Zanzara is on his topside camps.
Hitting him with the sad B is a sign of confidence. And I like to see it as we get into game 2. But yeah, obviously the Lucian Nami lane. Level 3, terrifying. Level 1, Sivir's still a threat force to be reckoned with. And Lulu, very, very oppressive. So good to see Misfits take a little bit of control here. Top side of the map, relatively quiet. Curious to see what Zanzara is going to do on this Sejuani. It's been a long time since I have seen Sejuani in the jungle, even if I has been seeing a little bit of international play, and wonder what kind of impact it can have for Misfits in the early game.
Well, so far already a good start for Misfits. I think this is one of the big weaknesses of Vi. Her 1 to 3 is just bad. She can do very little, and there's not many junglers that she can really contest. And it seems that many teams are looking to try and take advantage of that. And so far, Misfits have done a great job. Not resulted in any significant goal lead, of course. It's just a bit of a denial to make Yanks' life a little bit harder. He will, of course, be level 3, and information now spotted. It means that they know exactly where he is.
Jankos actually dodged the Raptors ward. He finished his bot camps, ran around the Krugs. Irrelevant should spot him out soon. He's going to ward the Tribush, so they won't spot him exactly. But Zanzara, again, has been on hold this whole game. Saw him going to level 1, saw him on his Raptors right now. Jankos knows that Irrelevant doesn't have his jungler around, but he will get spotted out here. Jankos looking for that top side crab. Zanzara looking for the contest. Red buff in his favor. Jankos might struggle, but Caps has the early mid push.
That's the most important thing when it comes to contesting around these crabs. The problem for Jankos right now is that, hey, my top laner doesn't have Persian, even though my mid does. Renekton Sejuani, yeah, I don't want to fight that this early on into the game, so I'm just going to path towards the bot side of the map. Yep. I should be able to secure crab, and then Caps can come and assist me. So good awareness from Jankos. For Zanzara, off to a very good start. We'll secure red, enemy Raptors, his bot side, and now he will do a top side play.
Yeah, whenever we see a Twisted Fate in the game especially, we kind of expect that team to dictate the pace of the game, the gold card moving around with those early ultimates. And just going to have to see what G2 can do, because last game it was Jankos and Caps together being the sole focus. It resulted in a outstanding scoreline, 1,136 damage per minute. Ludicrous, ludicrous numbers. On the Twisted Fate, it's going to be a different story in terms of damage output, as the gank will not come through on the bottom side. Just a bit of pressure here. We have to see what Caps can do on this Twisted Fate, because the numbers won't be the same, even if the impact can be similar. Is now on the top side, Broken Blade caught out, 1, 2, 3, and 4 stacks. Instant stun going to come through, mitigated by the Unstoppable. Misfits have waited half a second there. They might have been able to finish him.
Jungle showing top though. G2 push in mid and run down here to allow Jankos to get these Krugs that haven't been taken. Misfits' bot lane being zoned away from these waves. A plate's already over to G2's bot lane, and we saw the level 1 go in Misfits' favor. It felt like those were the ones controlling the lane, but really good play by G2 to just send all their members down here, knowing Zanzara will be on his top camps, and find a window that wasn't really there.
It's just a great example of how you can use a prior to assist other lanes should they need to, and the reality is Flapping and Targon is falling short in the 2 versus 2, and then Caps and Jankos able to bail them out. Now they should be able to get a good base. They should be able to reset back out on the map. Now Caps forced to use his TP to get back into the mid lane. Vito getting off a good base as well means that Vito can now start putting on the pressure. So the question is, how detrimental is this to Caps in the individual 1v1, given that Vito is now getting closer and closer to level 6?
That's exactly it. They're going to have to go mid soon, whether it's Targamas and Jankos together or one of them separately, to actually help Caps get a good base, because that Caps roam has put him a little bit behind in terms of tempo in mid. Targamas trying to freeze this wave in Mersa's face, who has Ignite. He has to be careful with the heal response. Could come through, but the wave will crash.
It's important to note that because Caps TP'd from the bottom lane, he wasn't able to refresh the stacks on his Corrupting Potion. He will now back and return to mid lane here, so may lose 1 or 2 creeps, but the good news when you're going up against an Akali, pre-6, not a lot of kill pressure and not a lot of wave threat either. So Caps at least capitalizing on what is a brief moment of weakness, although now that VTO has ticked over to level 6, he has to be very careful about how he plays this lane.
I mean, the other good news for Caps is Akali really sucks at pushing early waves. You kind of need level 9 before you have decent wave clear, because the energy cost of your Q is so high at early levels, and it's very difficult to get that energy back as well. So Caps actually had a pretty decent base. He's not going to lose too much off the back of it. But the reality is, as you said, VTO is now level 6. This is where he has kill pressure. This is where he starts to become scary. And already he has his eyes set on that top lane.
Caps level 6 as well. With the Destiny, can pull the trigger top side, can pull the trigger bot side. Their kill pressure top is a little lackluster with the tank, of course. They might need Jankos up there to kill this Renekton, but he's just going to hover around, get some vision for his top laner, see if he can drop a pink ward, which he will do on his entrance red of his own team. Could look bot as well, but there might be some mind game between Caps and Neon where he pops his spell shield on a W, but Caps can hold the stun in Q, so really is animation dependent on how Neon uses that spell shield and whether Caps can land the stun. No cleanse, of course, and now VTO will get spotted on that pink.
VTO taking brief advantage there in the mid lane in terms of push to clear out this vision, threaten top side. More vision there, though, just to make sure the Broken Blade is safe. As meanwhile, on the bottom side, Jankos already responding, looking to lock down the Dragon. Overall, a much quieter game than in game 1.
Be a red buff respawn trade for the Dragon. course, it will put the Sejuani slightly further ahead and help her with the 1v1s and gank pressure, but Drake over to G2 in these early stages, and Zoro looking at the Raptors as well, a lot of trading across both these side lanes.
Relevant trying to extend the trade to get more value out there as Broken Blade gets the full rotation, and Jankos uncontested on the Cloud. Have to see what else they can do with this red buff, with this pressure on the top side. For now, nothing. So in the long run, the Cloud will favor G2 for now, though the red buff obviously feels pretty good for Zanzara.
I will say, credit does need to be given to G2 in terms of their priority on the Dragons. Yesterday, we saw a lot of late Dragons. Often the first one would get taken after the Herald. It's good damage on the Targamas there.
Mersa
really
is absolutely bullying Targamas in this lane in terms of individual damage output. And for Flacket, it's hard because he commits spells onto Mersa. Obviously, Neon can't just trade right back onto him. It can be a little bit difficult.
But the advantage that they've gained as well makes it easier for Jankos to secure that Drake. And even though he loses the red buff, it's also a thing that from Misfits' perspective, they don't want to overcommit to a fight this early on. Fighting a Lucian Nami this early into the game can be a very dangerous and scary thing to do. Jankos, likely knowing that Zanzara has started off the Herald, hovering around bot, looking for an opportunity. It looks like he's not going to find it.
Herald over to Misfits this early on. Small gold lead as well as they zoned Broken Blade away from that top tower and got a couple plates for Irrelevant. So top side, G2 do not want to contest. And of course, if you're in a split map scenario like this, where your jungler's top, your mid lane is always hovering top, all Misfits bot lane need to do
bit of vengeance!
Is play safe. As Mersa almost gets taken down there, has to burn the flash. Nice try there by Flacket.
That's like when your big brother comes to school and just messes up your bully. Targamas has to feel so good after that one. Obviously, huge advantage too. Neon only level 5 here. Don't think they can dive as Flacket is out of mana, but will force the wave in, and Lulu going to miss out on a decent amount of XP.
Well played there by the G2 bot lane. The early levels looked a little bit shaky, but they've been able to bounce back very well. Irrelevant though on the top side of the map.
3 blades.
Rookie that's grown a lot so far this split. Doing very well in this matchup, and off the back of a nice little gank early on from Zanzara, you can see he's been able to blow this to a 1k gold lead in the isolated matchup. Very well played from him.
And it's a pretty tough matchup for Ornn. We see Renekton as a response to Ornn and Sejuani in the early stages to get that early push. Win out on the extended trades with Conqueror, build Blade, and then win out on the side lane too. But of course, the Ornn will be more useful in team fights and can kind of renew that gold deficit with the Ornn upgrades to his team with the stats.
I mean, we also see a lot of Ornn players even going toe-to-toe with Renekton, you know, almost like neutralizing the lane. Often being that aggressor is difficult because it's not just on you as the individual top laner, but you need your team to enable that play as well. And Zanzara did a good job in the early game of setting up that vision, playing towards top, stealing away that early red buff to deny any potential early ganks as well. They've kind of set up Irrelevant to success, and now he's running away with the matchup.
And that was kind of a big question mark because, again, when we talk about G2, we talk about a really strong top side. Irrelevant has been a very impressive rookie, but the question mark that I had around this matchup was how will he go toe-to-toe with Broken Blade? And for now, yes, he's supposed to win this matchup, but he is playing it very well. He is building a more impressive gold lead than I might have initially expected. The question always becomes, against a champion like Ornn, however, is what do you do with it? How can you transition it into be more than just this laning advantage? Because we know what Ornn ults do, and mostly they win team fights. Good snipe now. Targamas going to be in trouble trying to make his way out to safety. Tidal Wave has now been used. Bubble blocked by Neon. Wants one more on to finish off. Cooling down, coming down. Vi on the way in. Jankos, are they going to go for anything else? The flash out from Neon is clean, getting away. Caps on the way down, but VTO is here too. Flacker going to be in trouble. VTO waiting, debating on where he can go. Ease backwards, does not connect on the Shuriken flip, means the fight stops in its track, but a clean gank for Zanzara.
VTO, the hero of Misfits there, actually reading the play, seeing that they're going for this aggressive play, makes it so he just instantly starts running bot as Zanzara engages. If Caps ults in, he can match the numbers. If VTO was on mid-wave there, maybe G2 could have looked for the 3 versus 3. And Flackhead will catch the wave. Nice snipe out by Zanzara. An incredible flash from Neon, who knew that Jankos would go for that flash Q.
Just what a clean ultimate from Zanzara as well. Like, he just glided over the wall, immediately hit onto the target. And just keep your eyes on Zanzara here. I wasn't even sure he'd be able to make this gank work. I thought that he was just covering for a potential gank, but no, he's the aggressor. Targamas is not able to react to it in time. He does the best that he can with the heal and the ultimate, but Neon is able to get the last auto off.
Yeah, let's keep our eyes on Neon here because I think he gets the kill from a bounce as Zanzara will flash forwards here. Now watch Neon's flash. He sees Jankos, Q charged up. Good reaction to know the Q flash was coming in.
Such a good flash.
Caps can't ult on top of Misfits there because then he's in range of the Akali who will collapse on him, so good roam from VTO to respond. Misfits off to a sizable early game lead now with this Herald in their pocket as well. I expect Zanzara to drop this around mid or bot soon with the Dragon spawning in 40 seconds.
And again, I think the most terrifying part of this is if you're G2 right now is that bot lane is ahead and mid lane is looking pretty good as well. Yes, Caps has an individual gold lead, but a lot of that is Twisted Fate passive. The fact that he hasn't been able to impact the map quite as much yet is a big deal. And when you look at Misfits, giving money, giving anything to VTO or Neon always feels like Misfits' recipe for success.
It certainly does. And now they're going to funnel even more money and try and get a bit of damage down onto this tower. Will they secure another plate? They should be able to. I don't think G2 quite have the wave clear for it.
Right of the Rune King.
Great trade top lane.
Conqueror proc, he's just monstering out in the individual 1v1 right now.
Blade of the Rune King so powerful. Misfits pop the Sivir ult. They're collapsing on target mass with no flash. Zanzara has the ult
tidal wave.
no TF ult either.
Oh, Chem Tank, he's just running in. He's just going to slow him down. There's nothing he can do. Damage mitigated to the rest of the team, but now the buy on the backside. Zanzara just looking for the 1v1. No one else even done damage. He's trying to finish the job. Look at the Sejuani base damage. It's out of control. Yanko's in trouble too.
The Q.
Oh, another one dropping. Misfits slaughter G2 on the bottom side.
Misfits continue the proactivity. Their great usage of the Sivir ultimate combined with the Sejuani ultimate. Zanzara coming up clutch and getting revenge for what G2 did to him in game 1.
And Irrelevant's gonna get a full top tower. This was solo, yes, one gank top, but that's a full 5 plates over to the Renekton, who's now 2,000 gold up in isolation. Jungle bot ahead as well for Misfits, and Vitio sitting pretty happy in this mid matchup as Akali even in CS into the TF. Dragon over to Misfits.
4,500 gold lead as we take a look back at that play.
Well, Flacket just kind of walks up thinking he owns the bot side of the map, but Misfits just heralded mid and pushed in the wave, so they're going to collapse down. There's no TF ult either, and you can't TP in just yet too. So getting caught off guard here, and it's Zanzara who just solos out Flacket. Jankos tries his best to try to peel by going on top of Neon, but he doesn't have the damage alone to take out the Sivir. Look at his HP bars. Neon's full HP, so Jankos just has to run away after trying to peel. And then it's just a Q snipe from Neon. Good to land it. Jankos can't really sidestep that one.
Ooh. You don't get to see Sejuani mechanics very often, but Zanzara utilized his passive so that he wouldn't be slowed. Then he was able to not only apply his other passive to root him, he then followed up with the ultimate to get the double root to maximum CC Flacket to allow him to get the solo.
You also get the double ice proc if you do it in that order.
Yeah,
you get the E proc and then the alt proc after that, whereas if you do it in the other order, you can't actually proc the second stun.
Exactly.
Shout out to Marisa Mason-Stuckenschneider, who was on the desk and taught me at least about that Sejuani mechanic. I don't know where you heard that one from.
Sejuani mechanics, baby, and it looks like Misfits are swapping up the lane phases. They're going to put their bot lane mid, have VTO catching top waves and Irrelevant on this bot side of the map. With Herald spawning soon and with Irrelevant having TP, I think Misfits can just start this Herald up as they please, and we'll see if G2 respond, but it'll be very difficult for them to do so.
And I want to give a shout out again to Misfits. They have not won this game yet, but when we look at tenacity and the ability to come back from a difficult loss, that's all on the G2 side. You look at quantity of games played, G2 are the veterans through and through for, again, a team that is so incredibly rookie. To come back mentally, to come back strong, to dominate in this early game is an impressive sight. What you're seeing on the side there, just number of all-time LEC games played for each player. You can see Jankos alone, more games than the entire Misfits lineup combined.
Yeah, and Misfits lineup, no one really expected it in 2022 here. You've got Neon, who was finishing bottom of the table last year, Zanzara, who finished last place. Irrelevant and Mercer were in the ERLs last year, and now they're in a winner's upper kind of bracket double elimination playoffs against G2, and they're having a fantastic early game, sitting at 3,500 to 4,500 gold lead right now. Irrelevant looking for Broken Blade.
Cap's now going to come down. They should be able to get him in the 3v1, but can he get a kill back is the big question. Leaping in onto Caps now has been rooted up. There's just so much follow-up CC. He will get cut down here. No one traded back. Good kill pickup for the side of G2.
Misfits needs to respond quick. They need to drop the Herald mid or top now that they've picked it up, because they've just committed 3 members there. They've just committed 3 ultimates as well. Top tier 2 is more value in terms of gold. Mid lane tier 2 is more value in terms of map control. Looks like Zanzara wants to drop it top then, but I think G2 will be in time to respond. See if they can take it down.
Misfits committing 4 members to the top side. G2 can match that. Broken Blade still on the bottom side. No TP available. Herald charging, stun locks up. A lot of chain CC there, but no follow-up damage. The ult now coming in though. Misfits fishing for a little bit of blood. Zanzara leaping out. Good dash out, waiting as the gold card comes in. Only 1 tower traded back. Top tier 2 for the bot tier 1 alongside the kill onto Renekton.
Misfits doing a great job of pushing their lead and showcasing that they definitely can go toe-to-toe with G2. Neon in a prime position to carry this game. And huge props to Zanzara. Like, let's not forget his incredible story. Coming in halfway through the split, Misfits were really struggling. And all of a sudden he joins and they go on this incredible win streak. He gets Poppy every game. Yeah. People are like, maybe take away his Poppy. You take away his Poppy, you give him his Trundle. Like the man, this is his meta and he is shining in it.
Knight's Vow second, maybe going towards the Warmogs as well later on. Just going to be a supportive tool for Misfits with a lot of damage on the triple threat in top, mid, and bot. But I worry for G2 the longer this game goes in terms of damage. You know, you've got Ornn, Vi, TF. There's not really a carry high DPS champ coming out of that top side. It's a lot of setup, a hell of a lot of setup, yes, but the Lucian needs to be ahead then to carry the DPS in the fights, to start dashing forwards with the culling and the Gale Force, but right now Flacket's sitting at a 1,100 gold deficit. We'll need to start trying to find some fights soon. G2 have a lot of setup to work with. They just need the resources on that carry.
Difficult position to play from, no doubt. See if G2 can split up the map, continue to find those picks on side lanes. Misfits playing a little bit more cautiously now, as you can see, Irrelevant without information on the G2 lineup. We'll just back off, not looking to push his individual advantage any further. Good news for the side of G2 is we now have the Imperial mandate for Targamas alongside Flacket with the Gale Force. The potential to just 100-0, something like the Sivir or Akali, if VTO or Neon are out of position, is definitely there. They have the tools, just need to find a way to make it work.
Dragon up in 40 seconds. Misfits will want to start stacking those soon to force G2 to fight into them, but G2 want to look for cross maps. They want to look to use TF ult and the buy move to a side lane when the Dragon is started up, but Jankos might be caught.
Bit of damage, stun. Jankos locked up, there's just so much damage! Killing spree. And again, Zanzara just walks in slowly but surely, uses the ulti secondary, just keeps the enemy target, just chain CC'd.
Dragon will be gone, bot tier 1 will be gone, everything's falling apart now. G2 don't own any sides of the jungle. Broken Blade will be forced away, so 2 objectives will be picked up for that pick.
Tank, a little bit extra movement speed. Broken Blade now slowed down. Not going to hit the 4th auto attack, won't be able to fish for the stun, although Broken Blade could go unstoppable. And Misfits, again, finding small advantages, turning it into something so much more. Dragon up, tower going to go down, everything going in favor of Misfits. Hoping to pick off VTO. He can't try to shuriken flip back. It will get canceled, it will get interrupted. He will be cut down. Big shutdown into the back pocket of Flacket.
Yeah, that's why Twisted Fate is a very effective pick into the Akali. Very much mitigates her, well, stalling power. G2 are finally able to find a pick back on the map. It will cost them a Drake. It will net them a little bit more control, and maybe they can play for that top tier 1.
And that's exactly how G2 want to play the game. They want to cross-map, because they can always cross-map with the TF and try to make a pick on side, because Misfits have 2 champs that want to push outside. Akali, Renekton, both of them want to play some kind of a 1-3-1-esque style, and that's where the TF can come into punish when Misfits want to make plays for towers or for dragons. G2 want to cross-map. Unfortunately for them, Jankos fell earlier on, and they lost the bot tier 1, so this kill doesn't actually net them anything. But a kill is a kill. They need to get a lot more of that, though.
Starts to bring things back in terms of bottom lane gold discrepancy, but when you take a look at the total gold, no surprise to see Misfits should be mostly towards the top of the table, Irrelevant and Neon dominating. Caps bringing it back. Some of that is his assists, some of that is the Twisted Fate passive, but finally Flacket catching up. And of course, he is the man that we are looking at to be the big carry for G2. He's the only person on the team that gets to build full damage items. Even Caps now getting the utility of a rapid-fire cannon for the Twisted Fate.
Well, we'll see if he's able to do it. I'm telling you right now, VTO Akali, very few AD carries have been able to escape it. I remember watching, I believe it was Upset Caitlyn. You'd think that with a Morgana and being Caitlyn, he'd be fine. Nope.
Melted.
He's a very talented Akali player. As you rightly said, Drake was at the beginning of the game. This is one of his iconic picks. It's something that really drew a lot of attention to him as a player. And you can look at some of his stats on your screen right now. 6 wins, 3 losses, an impressive 6.7 KDA. And nearly a 70% kill participation, which for the record on Akali is really hard.
Nice.
Akali is not like Jarvan, where Jarvan can throw his E. Oh, I just got 5 assists, how convenient. Akali has to work for her assists. So, yeah, definitely an impressive scoreline for V2 on this channel.
Misfits starting up the Baron here. G2 see it, of course, because of the Scuttle Crab. They're going to walk in. We'll see what Misfits' response here is. Do they look for the finish? They look for the turn. VTO is in a good position to flank. Caps might have to use the ult to get vision.
They're looking for it. There it is.
Going over the wall, and so just going to try to blow them up. Irrelevant, just so much damage. Look at the combo. Oh, they've locked up VTO, but everyone else might fall. Broken Blade still a solid ultimate. VTO buying a bit more time by going golden, now leaping backwards. G2 getting routed around the pit. Mercer chasing forward. Irrelevant, just about unstoppable. The snare landing. Oh, the Chem Tech bringing him home, bringing him into the back line. Misfits can turn right back to the Baron. They have the power of the Sejuani and the Renekton together. They can cut through this so quickly.
Fantastic Baron start by Misfits. Really good turn. Zanzara and Irrelevant, the first ones to go across. VTO lives with the stopwatch. Great flank as well. And then it's the back line of Neon and Mercer that cleans house.
Just an incredible engage from Zanzara and Irrelevant. This top jungle have absolutely smurfed this game, and they are going to secure a 21-minute Baron against G2.
So let's look at this one again. G2, no vision to work with. Don't invest in the TF ult, and by the time they step forward toward it, boom, Zanzara straight across the wall. VTO on the side, so Flacket has to run away. Culling already used Caps and Flacket. Not a lot of backline DPS. The stopwatch popped by VTO. And then the Ornals comes in to get a couple knockups, but it's really hard for Caps and Flacket to follow up.
What was crazy is Mercer just walked onto the backline and polymorphs Flacket. Caps and Flacket had just stood there looking at this Lulu just being a pain on the backside. And they're able to just clean sweep the fight. A very well executed fight from Misfits.
Yeah, and we can see both these teams, when they get leads, they seem to snowball very, very effectively. We saw G2 last game doing it, now Misfits with the early game lead. Very clean snowball so far.
And you can see how confident they are to pull the trigger. The second they see Broken Blade's TP coming out, they know they have a 4-second window to make things happen. They instantly, 2 members are dead by the time Broken Blade starts casting his ultimate, and that Renekton is a force to be reckoned with. Neon hasn't even 3 items yet. The Sivir's not even scary yet. It's a terrifying place for GTO.
G2 lack wave clear as well. They don't really have that much, and they're
Oh,
going to engage
now
on
he's
the
trying to
dive.
finish it. Flacken instantly dead. That's it. That's the main source of damage. VTO dashes right back out. TP coming in. Irrelevant is massive. Oh, it's a slaughter. We're 22 minutes in, and G2 might just try to end it right here. Rather, Misfits might try to end it right here. G2 running out of options. They need to defend their base, but they have no form of damage. They have no reliable form of wave clear.
They have to Ornult this wave. They don't have that much wave clear at all. Ornult is the only real reliable thing they have left, but the wave hasn't crashed yet. He can't use it for only 3 creeps. He needs to wait a little bit longer. I don't think Misfits can end unless G2 takes some kind of silly fight, but they will hit the towers. Where is the Ornult? There it is for the wave tech, and Irrelevant stun him.
Trying to stop him from getting it. He does get the stun out. The wave is still there, but Misfits are going to back away. They know not to risk it. Flacken coming up in just a moment. Yanko's leaping forward with confidence.
Caps has ult on respawn. They might want to slow chase this down to try and find some picks, but it looks like Misfits are out.
The Dragon up in a minute's time means the Misfits, they recognize the death timers, they recognize that if they overstay, they could end up throwing the game, and it's just not worth it. You have such a monumental lead. Why not just go back to base, reset, spend that gold, and come back out onto the map even stronger than you were before?
Guardian Angel and Irrelevant now level 15, and we're going to take a look at that mid dive again. G2 lacking the wave clear, but Flacked with no cleanse, no flash. Zanzara just sees him step way too far forward, throws the ult over the wall. Everyone piles on top of him, and then it's Caps that gets singled out for the TP of Irrelevant. Zanzara on the left there, just tanking the tower to make sure his top lane safe. Incredible damage coming out, and Caps falls. The 3 versus 5 kicks off. They only get themselves 1 Nexus tower.
You know, I'm so used to Sejuani having the stigma of all of her ultimates missing, but it's very strange to see Zanzara hit every single one of them like they're homing missiles. Like, every single one of them has just been absolutely on point.
Yeah.
Zanzara having a stellar game on Sejuani. He's been involved in 9 of the 10 kills that Misfits have secured.
And a secondary shout out to Mersa. 10 of the 10. We've seen this man on Leona put up big numbers. We've seen him absolutely monster in some of these games, but he has been unleashed, shutting down Targamas in lane, being so clutch in these fights, knowing that if anyone burns cooldowns on him, they lose the fight anyway. Fearless now to step forward. G2, though, holding on for the siege, trying to survive as long as they can. 11k gold deficit, not something that's easy to weather. Maybe if they find a pick onto VTO, they get something done, but it feels like G2 are already out.
Baron buff gone. Broken Blade might have to ult this wave if Misfits step up. They're using Dragon as an exit objective. They want to keep the pressure on.
Locked up. Ornn locked up. The tidal wave to follow, trying to turn something back. Broken Blade trying to leap out to safety. VTO still standing strong. He goes golden. He buys himself a brief moment. He can't continue. Step forward. God. So much damage. He gets the Shuriken flip. It's big. It's a double. Looking for a bit more for the Sivir. Following up. The Akali gets 1. VTO grabs 2, rather triple for the Sivir. VTO grabs 1, and Misfits going to end the game.
And in 25 minutes, the surprise of Misfits, where everyone come back and clap G2 after such a disastrous game 1, making this a tied-up series.
Broken Blade said we'd get a banger or a 3-0, and I'm ready for a banger. A back and forth, early game dominance, taking both teams to quick victories.
It's a best of 3 now, and we've seen level 1s from both sides. Zanzara gets the level 1.